Hello, everybody, and welcome to my absolute favorite math lesson ever. This is my favorite thing to do in all of math, which is saying a lot because I love math. But I'm going to teach you in these videos how to solve algebra equations. And this is going to be a very long lesson because I want you to be an absolute expert on solving equations when we get finished. So to do this one, you're going to need your memory piece number 7, and it has 4 parts. It has these 4 wheels. You have this one that says one-step equations in the middle. Then you have an example piece, a your turn piece, and the steps piece. And I have colored mine just to make them easier to show you. I can refer to the sections a little bit easier when they're colored. So we're going to be looking at these one section at a time. I would not recommend gluing these down until we're finished with them, because this way you can manipulate them, you can move them around all you need to. So I want you to start with this piece, the steps piece, and we're going to look at this first yellow section. This is called a quadrant. It's one of 4 parts. And I'm actually going to take a picture of the steps. Right now, I understand that this means nothing, probably to you. Don't worry about it. Just bear with me, okay? All right, let me do a little resizing. I want to shrink this piece down because I don't need it to be that large at the moment. And I want us to pull in this piece that says example. We're going to start with the example piece first. Let me try that again. I love these wheels because they give you so much information packed in one small space, and they also don't give you the answers right off the top. You have to do some work to get these pieces. So let's start with this yellow section right here. And I'm going to pull in those rules that I just copied. And to start with, these rules are going to take some adjustment. If you've never done algebra before, you have to learn the rules. You have to learn the process. And it's probably going to be a little unfamiliar at first, like most things are. But if you bear with me, you will get the hang of this. So let's go through our steps here and learn what we're doing. Okay, the first step says to draw the power t. So I'm going to rewrite this equation so that it's not curved. I'm going to put it right here. X plus 4 equals negative 17. So here comes what I call the power t. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to try something. This may backfire on me, but bear with me just a minute. If I can get rid, oh yes, this is going to work. So I know you can't do this, but for this to be very clear, I want to try this. Let me rewrite that problem. It was x, I've already forgotten it, plus 4 equals negative 17. So here's the power t. You're going to draw a line this way, and then through the equal sign, I want you to draw another line. So I call that my power t. It's the t shape. That is the first step in solving an equation. You draw a line across and then one through the equal sign. And then we have to decide which side is variable and which side is constant. So if you look at this carefully, you see that the x, the variable, is on the left side. So we're going to call this the variable side of this equation. and we're going to call this the constant side. Find your variable, and then the other side is the constant side. You can also call it letter. Whoops. Letter is the variable, and the constant is the number. Now, I won't write that on all of them because I want you to know the proper names for these. Variable and constant. So we've done step 2. Step 3 says what needs to move. So let's study this picture just a minute. I have 3 terms here. I have an x, a plus 4, and a minus 17. One of those terms is on the wrong side. Which one of them is on the wrong side? Well, the 17 negative is a constant, so it's on the right side. It's where it needs to be. The x is a variable, so it's where it needs to be. This is the term that needs to move. It needs to go over here to be with the other numbers. So I need to move that plus 4. And this is how we do it. Let's go ahead and highlight that because that's what needs to move, the plus 4. You move by inverses. Remember, inverse means opposite. So what is the opposite of a plus 4? It is a minus 4. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. So I am putting that minus 4 on both sides of this equation. And I know this is a lot. Just bear with me. It will get better. Step 5 is to cancel. So we're going to cancel these 2 4s and copy. So I'm left with an x. And then on this side, I lost $17. I lost 4 more. So how many have I lost altogether? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And there is your answer. You have solved your first algebra equation. X equals negative 21. This is the solution to that algebra equation. X is negative 21. And this last step says to standardize. That means that you put the letter first. So x equals negative 21. You'll see some more of those as we go through this. Okay, let's do another example. And that's going to be this one, the one that says your turn. And I'm going to move this piece if I can. Oh no, I took it all. Let's try it this way, because I need to be able to zoom in just a little bit on there. So let me do it this way. So here is your turn. And this is just another example on the wheel that we need to do. So this is the yellow piece again. We're still on that section of our puzzle. We're doing x plus 25 is 3. And let me move that out so I have room to write. So x plus 25, do I have it right? X plus 25 is 3. And then the first step, look at your steps. The first step is to draw the power t. So let's pull it right in here. And then you decide which side is variable and which side is constant. This is the variable side because the letter is there. So you know what the 2 first steps are. Draw the power t, decide variable and constant. And then ask yourself, what needs to move? I have an x, a plus 25, and a 3. Which one of those terms is on the wrong team? It's the plus 25 right there. It's on the wrong team. That is a constant term, and it needs to be on the constant side. The opposite of plus 25 is minus 25. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. And here you cancel. Canceling is very important. If you cannot cancel, you're doing something wrong. So that leaves me with an x over here on the variable side. That's what I want. The constant side, let's think about poker. I won $3, but I lost 25. So overall, I am at negative 22. You can also put this in your calculator, 3 minus 25, if you have the calculator. To standardize this answer, this solution, you would say x equals negative 22. And I like to put a box around my solution because that's one of my vocabulary words. It is the one value in the world that will make this equation balance. It will make this equation true. Okay, so you have solved 2 of them now. I'm going to give you a lot of examples right here. So let's keep going. We're going to practice with these types of, I'm going to give you 10 of each of them so you really get the hang of what you're doing. So here's number 1. And these are addition equations. So you might want to put a header there. Just turn to a clean sheet of paper. And let's put the header so you know what kind of equation you're solving. And we're going to do 10 examples. And here's the first one. X plus 15 is 25. And you may be able to look at that and say that's 10. X has to be 10. And that's great if you know that. But I am far more concerned in this process that you know how to solve this the right way, because that's what will help you solve the harder ones. So let's draw the power t. Decide which side is variable. And which side is constant. Ask yourself, what needs to move? And it's that positive 15. It needs to move over to the constant side. So we're going to use the inverse. And we do that on both sides. And then you cancel. So x, 25 subtract 15. I had $25. I lost 15. That is 10. And then to standardize your answer, you would say x equals 10. There's the first one. Okay, let's do another one. Here's number 2. Refer to those steps if you need to. Look at that every time that you need to look at it. So I have m plus 3 is 9. Draw your power t. This is your variable side. It doesn't matter if it's an m or an x. The letter does not matter. The process does not change. What needs to move? It's the 3. So let's minus 3 and minus 3 and cancel. So I'm left with my variable and my constant. M is 6. That is the only solution in the world that will make that equation true. Okay, number 3. Hopefully, these are getting a little bit easier each step. Number 3 is A plus 17 is 65. You know the first step, and you know the second step. Third step, what needs to move? You move by inverse, and you cancel. So A is the variable, 48 is the constant, and the standardized solution is A equals 48. And you are doing algebra. You are doing it correctly as well. You're not just by luck guessing the right answer. You are doing the proper form, and that's what's going to help you down the road. Okay, number 4. M plus 7 is 9. Draw the power t. That's going to help you down the road too. Variable and constant. What needs to move? The 7. Do the same to both sides. M is 9 take away 7, which is 2. So M equals 2. These get harder. I'm letting you learn them slowly. Baby steps here. You learn the baby steps, you've got it made. These basic equations are the key to the whole thing. If you learn these correctly, the others will not be nearly as hard. Okay, so A plus 2.5 is 5. Don't panic. The algebra will never change. That process has been the same for thousands of years. It will never change. So here is variable. And here's the number all by itself that we call constant. And we need to subtract 2.5. You can use a calculator, or you can think to yourself. What is $5 minus $2.50? A is 2.5. Just because there's a decimal does not mean anything. It doesn't change anything. Don't be afraid of decimals and fractions. They're just numbers, like all other numbers. Speaking of which, x plus a half equals 2. So we're going to draw the power t. This is your variable side, and this is your constant side. And that 1/2 needs to move. It needs to go over there with the constant team. So cross off what you can cancel. Now think about it. If you have 2 cookies and you eat half of a cookie, you have 1 whole cookie and a half of a cookie left. So x is 1.5. You can also put that in your calculator if you have your calculator. Okay, number 7. I'm going to do 10 of them for each section because that's a good number to give you some practice. 12 equals 3 plus y. Oh boy. How is this one different? Or is it different? It is. Because the variable this time, the y, is on the right. But it doesn't matter. Which of those terms, the 12, the 3, or the y, is out of place? It's the 3. It needs to be over there with the number. And remember, if I don't see a sign, then it's positive. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. I know this is a little different. It looks a little different. So you have 9 and y. That needs to be standardized. You want your first thing to be the letter. It's not wrong if you don't do that, but your college professors are usually going to want it in standard form. So just get in the habit of it now. And there are lots of reasons that you want things to be standardized. So it's a good habit to go ahead and form. Okay, number 8, I have 25 equals r plus 7. Draw the power t. That's always your first step. Your second step is always to identify which side is variable, wherever the letter is. And then the other side is automatically a constant. Ask yourself what needs to move. And it is this 7 that needs to move to the constant side. So minus 7, and cancel. So 25 minus 7, that's 18, and then r. But we want it standardized. So r equals 18. Okay, number 9. I have 100 equals q plus 25. Does it matter that I have a capital Q? No, it does not. I could stick a smiley face in there if I wanted to. That's where the variable is. That's the unknown that we're trying to find. So we need to move the 25. He can't stay on a variable side of the equation. So 25 comes off there, which means it has to come off there. And we are left with 75 as the value of Q. And standardized Q is 75. This is the solution to the equation. And last but not least, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to do something a little different here. Let me scoot this over. Number 10, I have B plus 7.3 equals 9.75. Draw the power t. Which side is variable and which side is constant? I need to move this piece, $7.30. Comes off of 9.75. Cancel. So B is 5, 4, 2, 245, and that is standard. So you put your equal sign back in there for your solution. Now let me see if this will work. Cross your fingers. Yes, it's going to work. Let me put these steps in here and let's go through them just to be sure that you understand your steps. Okay, it says to draw the power T. We did that. Decide which side is variable and which is constant. We did that. What needs to move? We did that. We moved it by the inverse. That was subtracting in this case. We canceled, we copied, and we standardized. And you are doing algebra. If you understand what we're doing right here, you're going to be just fine. If you don't understand what we're doing right here, you will still be just fine. We just need to work a little bit more. I would ask you to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you understand what we're doing here? So picture, I used to have this in my classroom. We called it the pain scale. Okay. So on this pain scale, like we have in the emergency room, it's probably not the best idea to think of, but it works. Here's 5, here's 0, and here's 10. And you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Where are you? If 0 means I am completely clueless, 10 means I understand, I'm ready for the next challenge. Where are you on this scale? If you are 10 or higher, 9 or higher, obviously I can't count. I have left out my 6. This is important, guys, or I wouldn't be taking time. But if you are a 9 or a 10, I want you to go on to the next video. If you are anything less than a 9, I want you to watch this video again. I want you to do it again. Because once you master this set of problems, the others will be so much easier. If you're still less than a 9 on the scale, you haven't mastered it yet. So watch it again and then go on to the next video. In the next video, we're going to be looking at this blue step. We're going to be doing subtraction equations. So I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.